Great. Thank you, Seth. So thank you for joining, everyone. I appreciate your time this morning. As Seth said, my name is Dennis Newberry, Product Manager for Capacity Optimization. And today I'm going to cover really two things. The first of which is our release plans overall for Capacity Optimization and the release vehicles for that product. And then obviously we're going to dive into what's new for 2002. And I'm going to pass it over to Maria Riccelli at the end to walk through a few demo scenarios. So if you weren't aware, back in November, we released Helix Capacity Optimization. That was version 19.11. And Helix Capacity Optimization is our SaaS platform instance of Capacity Optimization. Going forward, we're going to be releasing the exact same code base for Capacity Optimization in two ways. One on our Helix environment, which is BMC provided SaaS, delivered through either the BMC Cloud or Amazon Web Services. And then also we're releasing or continuing to release on TrueSight, which is our on-premise product. So you're going to see Helix releasing more frequently than TrueSight. So generally every 2 releases of Helix would be 1 release of TrueSight. However, the content will be the same between the releases. So in the instance of 2002, which just released in February, we released both Helix Capacity Optimization as well as TrueSight Capacity Optimization, and they have content parity, and that will be true going forward. So kind of diving right in, what's new in 2002? So when I say 2002, as I just mentioned, I'm talking about both Helix as well as TrueSight. We had a number of updates specifically around reporting. So first and foremost, Maria is going to walk you through a demo of TrueSight Smart Reporting. And this is really an additional add-on that you can purchase for capacity optimization, where we're integrating the capacity optimization data schema to a reporting solution, allowing you to build way more custom reports. And we have introduced a number of new widget types and so forth. Additionally, for those of you who are building custom views, which is most of you, we're introducing a new capability called the Data Mart Wizard, specifically for summary data marts, making it simpler for you to build out data marts which support those custom views. And then we also introduced the ability to resize charts and views. This has been a common request for our customers for some time now, the ability to maximize, minimize, and so on within charts within a view. We also updated our investigate capabilities when you're looking specifically at agent data to allow you to have user preferences on time zones. And then we also introduced a new capability called self-help menus, and I'm going to show you an example of that. But basically, in the UI now, you have this little window that's on the right-hand side, and it's context sensitive to whatever view you're on. So if we have workflows documented specifically for that view, then you would see that embedded in the UI. And you do have the ability to move that around the screen as well, depending on where you'd like to have that presented. And then specifically around service awareness, this has been a core focus for capacity optimization for the last year, and it's going to be more focused going forward as well. We introduced in 11.5 the business service views, which were built on top of the notion of a service pool. Initially, that had a limited look back of 6 months and then a 3-month projection into the future. So with 2002, we've increased that capability and now allowing you to look back 18 months of data and then projecting that up to 6 months into the future. And then on the platform coverage side, we've introduced a number of new technologies, Nutanix Acropolis integration. So we have more and more customers that are interested in bringing data in from Nutanix, their Acropolis hypervisor. So we've added an ETL to allow you to bring in that data from the Acropolis hypervisor. We did not produce an out-of-the-box view for this, however. You can build custom views based on that data. Additionally, we introduced Pivotal Cloud Foundry integration, and we did provide out-of-the-box views here. And this, we have more and more customers using Cloud Foundry today. So if you're interested in this, please take a look at the Cloud Foundry integration that we've introduced. And then finally, there are some minor updates to existing ETLs, specifically around OpenShift. We've expanded support for versions 3.9 to 4.1. For Dynatrace ETL, we've added some additional lookup values that allows the browsing to be a bit easier. Hitachi Storage, we've added new metrics to allow for tier support. And then we also updated our ability to provide non-unified memory access support or NUMA support, and then updated our calculations around CPU for hyper-threaded systems. All right, and with that, I'm going to pass the ball over. Yeah.
Quick question.
Sure.
Is there a plan in a future release to have out-of-the-box views for the Nutanix
yes.
integration?
Yep, that is on our roadmap. Yep.
Great, thanks.
All right, so I'm going to pass it over to Maria and let her kick off some demos.
Thanks, Dennis. Hi, everyone. I'm going to show you some examples to let you understand in practice what has been implemented to cover the Mart Wizard, the integration for TrueSight Mart reporting, and the extended service view analysis window. So with that, let me share. Well, can you pass me the presenter role? Sorry. Because otherwise I cannot share my screen.
Yep, sorry about that.
All right, no problem. All right, let me share my screen. So first topic is the new Data Mart Wizard. I want to show you this feature in the new Helix Capacity Optimization product, which is, as Dennis said, the SaaS version of TrueSight Capacity Optimization. This is the home page for Helix Capacity Optimization, and is located in the Capacity Optimization dashboard, which is, in essence, the replacement of the TrueSight console in the SaaS version of Capacity product. So with that introduction, how do I use the new Data Mart Wizard that was included in 20? In order to do that, you need necessarily to go in custom views and try to create a new page in a view. And from there, start the wizard to create the new Data Mart. I can first add the new view, or I can also jump on a custom view that I already have, already existing view, and point the gear button on the right upper corner here and say add summary Data Mart. With that, I will be starting to use the new Data Mart Wizard for Summary Data Mart, which will allow me to simply do some selection to create the new Data Mart without using any SQL. So the first choice is between system and business drivers. I'm going to create an example based on system, and I can do next. As you can see also on the right-hand side, you are also guided through the entire procedure, and you always know exactly which step you are running into. So the next step will be the ability to select entity types. So for my purpose, I'm going to select two different types of system, VMware Virtual Cluster and Virtual Host VMware. Next step is to select a metric of interest. In my example, I'm going to simply to select CPU utilization, but you can select multiple metric of interest. By hitting the next button, I'm presented with the panel related to the entity time filter selection. And for my purpose, I'm now pointing to the last 30 days, including today, for my Mart. And I can include a name for my Data Mart and a description eventually. At this point, I can hit the Save button, and I'm presented with a page where there is a summary of which column have been selected on the basis of the selection that I did in the wizard. I can also review my selection by clicking the Back to Wizard button, and I'm also able to select a different Data Mart materializer task from here. By default, every summary Data Mart is attached to the Data Mart materializer task. At this point, I can hit the Finish button, and I'm done with the creation of the Data Mart. So see, this is really how you create a new Data Mart by leveraging the Data Mart Wizard. And you notice that it's pretty easy to do. At this point, I want to switch to the TrueSight Capacity Optimization version 2002, just to show you that the same the same feature is also available on-prem. And from here, I'm going to show you an example of creation of a report by leveraging the integration with smart reporting, which is the second topic, which I'm going to address in the demo. So by, again, hitting the gear button within a page in a custom view, I can do first manage data mart. With that, I'm landing on the data mart page in the TrueSight Capacity Optimization console. So the requirement to start creating a new report in smart reporting is that you need to identify which is the identifier of the data mart that you are gonna use in the report creation. So for that purpose, I'm gonna filter out by type, in my case, summary data mart, and I'm going to choose the identifier for the data mart that I just created, and this is exactly the same that I created also on the SaaS version of capacity optimization, which is Helix Capacity Optimization. So from a data mart creation perspective, there is a parity in terms of features. The integration with smart reporting for now is unavailable on 22 release and will be available in the next release of Helix Capacity Optimization also. With that, how do I start?
Maria, wait.
Yes.
Maria?
Yes.
We have a question from Michelangelo. Is it possible to create a data mart from a SQL query for that same purpose?
Of course. Yes.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Yeah, I'm just showing an example based on the new data mart wizard to show that that works also with the new one. But of course, all the SQL data marts, so by leveraging the previous version, which is still available in the product, the previous version of the data mart wizard in the TrueSight Capacity Optimization console. With that, you can create SQL data mart and use the same for creating reports in smart reporting. So once the integration with TrueSight smart reporting is in place, in order to you need to access the TrueSight console or the Helix Capacity Optimization dashboard, expand the tree, and you are presented in with the smart reporting entry, which is this one in the menu, the last one. If you click on this one, you are cross-launching to TrueSight Smart Reporting, and you can start the path of creating a new report. The first step of creating a new report is that you create a view in Smart Reporting. So clicking the plus button, you need to select View. And then select the data source. Since the integration with the capacity is in place, you can see the TSCO data source in place. And here you can select the multiple type of view that you wanted to create. For the simple one just requires to select the data mart that you just created. For my purpose, I'm going to do a multiple table selection because I wanted to create a little bit more complete example to show you, a number of options that you can leverage in TrueSight Smart Reporting. At this point, you can just use the identifier of your data mart and drag and drop your data mart in this window, and also select the column that you're going to use for your report. In my case, I'm going to use all of them. And then I can move as in the upper corner. You are guided through a sort of procedure path that at this point, I can just show which are the dimension and the metrics available. Dimension is entity type, entity CPU util entity, and then type ID. ability from ent type name to the ent name. For that, I need to click on this three-dot icon and say that I wanted to drill down to ent name. With that, I'm done with the view preparation, and I can simply say publish. I can choose a name for my view, and I can say VMware cluster and hosts. And I can select, the folder where I wanted to save this view. At this point, I can save and publish. And the next step will be to create the report. So clicking on the plus button, select the report. From here, you can select exactly the view that we just created and start the report creation. First, you see that the drill down option was already set here, and I can pick and choose the dimension and the metrics that I'm going to use in the report. Since I wanted to create a summary report that shows me the amount of CPU that is used by all my cluster and all my hosts that I'm managing, and also the ability to identify the top 10 cluster, top 10 hosts that are using the most CPU, I'm going to select the ent type name, and I can simply drag and drop, as you can see. It's very simple to use, and you are instantaneously provided with a preview. There are multiple options that you can leverage. So, for example, formatting option. We can change the name of the columns. So in this case, let me adjust and say entity name. And then for CPU, for example, I can say CPU utilization average. And then you need just to click on the X to exit and save these changes. In addition, what I want to do is also to change some type of aggregation that I'm doing. I wanted to do average instead of the sum. And I also want to do a specific sorting. I can choose to sort by descending value. Next step is to go on Chart tab. On Chart tab is where you select the type of chart that you are going to create. You are presented with a menu on the right-hand side with multiple chart types that you can leverage. In my case, I'm going to show you an example of usage of a bar chart 3D, which is not available on capacity side, for example. And I'm going to select all the fields that I'm going to use to populate the chart. So as a horizontal axis, this time I'm going to use CPU utilization, as vertical entity name, and I'm instantaneously provided with a preview of the chart that I'm creating. At this point, I can just publish and put report's name here and save. You can see that you can also restrict access and say that you want to keep it public to be accessible by all the users that are authorized to do reporting, or restrict the access. If I click on save here, I can see that I have my reports. This is showing me the CPU utilization average over the last 30 days for all the virtual cluster VMware and virtual host VMware. And I can also drill down, as expected, to, in essence, understand which are the top consuming cluster and host, in this case cluster, because I drilled down on clusters, in terms of CPU average. In addition, you can also share the reports, distribute the reports to a list of email recipients, or create a link to share. I mean, multiple options to share your results with different stakeholders. with that, I'm done with the example about smart reporting. I want to just show you additional example of reports that you can create. So, for example, this is another example of aggregation with drill down and with conditional formatting. So you can see that, for example, you can set up a threshold and immediately get who is the data center in this case that is, going over the threshold for risk score. And there's another example of drill down when you can, go down to the cluster level. And another nice example would be, for example, the ability to leverage maps. So you can create reports by leveraging maps and set up, leverage the different options available on smart reporting to set up those type of reports. So those are just a few examples of what you can do. There are really a million of options available on the smart reporting side to create this content. With that, let me now move on the last feature that I want to show you, which is the ability to expand the analysis window in the business service view. So as Dennis already mentioned before, we were providing until 11.501 the ability to see, in essence, forecasted values for saturation with respect to business services in business service view for the next 6 months, with a window to look back until 30 days. Now, in order to expand these analysis windows, a new option was made available. So in order to see this option and enable this option, you can access the settings gear button and then point to the thresholds page within the console, the TrueSight Capacity Optimization console UI, as well as the Helix Capacity Optimization console UI, because this feature is available both. So with that, you are landing on the threshold page, and you are presented with two different tabs. One tab is the thresholds, and the other one is indicators. So let's see if this is loading. So on the indicators page, there is a new option actually available. So let me head it and show you the option. The option is at the top under days to saturation. You use long-term data to compute indicators. If you wanted to expand the analysis window in the business service view, you need to select yes here. And you are also presented with a drop-down menu with multiple options to expand the historical look-back forward window to calculate the forecasting saturation for business services until 18 months back. Once you save this option, which I'm not going to do in this environment, I will show you the result about that. So let's have a quick look at the business service view without this option. Okay, without this option, we have 6 months, and you can see there are different, this is a specific distribution of the business services over the days to saturation timeline. If now we access a copy of the same environment with the option enabled, we can just see the results of that recalculation. So you see that this looks different. First, because on the different services now falls in different buckets. So, for example, we have now a service that falls into 1 to 30 buckets, and instead we were having some other service that were falling between 61 and 90, 19 and 120. And in addition to that, the horizontal axis of days to saturation was enlarged to reach out to the next 6 months, which is the expected results. Why of that is because now we are taking into account a larger historical data set to recompute all the indicators, and the net effect of this is that everything is evaluated on the basis of a larger amount of data, and we are able to do a more precise forecasting for the saturation related to business service view. So with that, I'm done with the demo part.
Okay, thank you, Maria. So we've got a couple of different questions. I'm going to read, some of them have been answered. I'm going to read them out anyway.
Okay.
So can the reports be scheduled and sent via email? Yes.
Yes.
This is the real power of smart reporting. There's a broadcast capability, which is very powerful. Really, Skype? Okay. Is the TrueSight smart reporting included with the existing TSA licensing, or is it separately licensed product? The answer is it's a separate license. So we're a little bit over, but we're happy to stay on and answer any more questions. Do not see anything in chat. Do not see any additional questions in Q&A. So I'll start wrapping it up, and if you've got another question, please jump into the Ask It. Again, Dennis, Maria, thank you so much for presenting. For those of you who are attending and asking questions, thank you so much for your participation. Hope everybody has a wonderful day, and we'll look forward to seeing you again in a couple of weeks. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.